My next guest is a young man who is one of the, I guess, funniest comedians around. Certainly a heck of a lot funnier than I am. That's why he's here. He is. That's why we booked these guys. Some people in the studio audience like me so much they think that, well, believe it or not, comedy is a sideline I only do for a few minutes on this show. Most of the time, I'm a pretty straightforward person. But please welcome one of the best young stand-up comedians in New England, Mr. Dan Savage.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I seem nervous. I've never performed in front of this many people before. And I'm so young. I've got a son who he's got a new nickname for me, Baldy. Son, I got a new word for you. Heredity. He's at an age where he's got to be so cool. He says, Dad, can you drop me off like a half block away? That way I won't be embarrassed. You want to be really cool? Walk the 5 miles a little putz. And so important, the names of bands, he says, it's actually a band called Garbage. He says, son, what is that garbage you're listening to? Hey, Dad, you're pretty cool. No, really, son, what is that crap? No, Dad, crack open for Garbage. This is madness. No, Dad, madness broke up over a year ago. You're really not so cool. He's arguing with his sister one day. He says, Dad, when are you going to tell us which one of us was adopted? That's not nice, son. Some of my friends were told they were special because they were picked. But if you're really good, somebody will tell you which one of you is a lab experiment. I'm still dying to know the answer to that one. I loved to mess with his head when he was a little kid. Come on, son, let me tuck you into bed. Read you a bedtime story. Oh, this is good. Yeah, The Stand by Stephen King. In less than a week, every man, woman, and child on the face of the planet died a horrible, coughing, viral, wheezing death. Good night, son. Sweet dreams. Nothing faces kid. He goes, Dad, that was a really cool story, but let me ask you this. What would you do if you knew the world was going to end in a week? I'd get back together with your mom. My ex-wife. No, I'm not romantic. You see, it would be the longest week of my life. And when the world ended, I would be so grateful. So I'd love to go shopping with you, dear. Please kill me now. No, your mom can stay as long as she wants. Says, Dad, don't you think mom's just a little tough on men? Son, saying your mom's a little tough on men, that would be like saying Jeffrey Dahmer had a little eating disorder. Teaching my daughter manners when she was like 2 years old. She sits there, she burps. I said, honey, what do you say when you burp? She looked at me cute as could be. She goes, She had me on a technicality. My son is running through the house, screaming his head off. I said, son, lower your voice. Okay, Dad. He had me on a technicality. Sitting in the car seat, doesn't say a word for 20 minutes. Finally says, Dad, we're all the stupid idiots on the road today. You think you've got me on a technicality, but you're wrong. Get out and walk the 5 miles. Take that car seat with you. I'm going to have some tough talks with my kids as they get older. I think I'm going to sound just like my father when I talk about drugs. I think it'll go like this. Son, you can't do drugs because they don't make drugs like they used to. Can you tell I grew up in the 60s? No, Dad, you burnt out freak. We'd never know. We were the generation that was going to change the world. Change the world? We can't even change the clock on our VCRs. That's the real reason we have children. You go do it. Yes, I'll tell you which one of you was a lab experiment beaker boy. Just go do it. Sounds a little bitter as I'm getting older. You know you're getting older when you look in the mirror and you see your father and you think, you know, the old man didn't look so bad. You know you're getting older when you're listening to country music and relating to it. Saying, I know what you mean, man. I miss her so much. I miss my dog. You know you're getting older when you're having long and serious discussions about fiber. And the word regular takes on a whole new meaning. I really don't have a clue these days. I see these beautiful young girls wearing these ugly black steel-toed construction boots and oversized flannel work shirts. There's something terribly wrong. Somewhere there's a construction site with a bunch of guys standing around in thigh-high suede boots, black leather miniskirts, saying, "Hey Chuck, does this make my thighs look fat or what? You think my butt's too big for this?" I'm enjoying doing this way too much. Another line of work or something. I saw a woman wearing a tie-dye shirt, platform shoes, bell-bottom jeans. They say it's a fashion comeback. No, it's an acid flashback is what it is. I'm listening to Jimi Hendrix the other day. My son comes in and he says, "Hey Dad, that's pretty good. Is that the new Lenny Kravitz album?" No, that's Hendrix, the original, you little grunge puppy. "Hey, it's pretty good. Does he have anything new, like an unplugged album?" Son, he's been unplugged for about 25 years. Think about this. Do you think that Jack Kevorkian bills his patients? Let me see about this right, doctor. I'm going to pay you cash up front, or are you going to let me live? That sucks. Alanis Morissette, she's a hot new thing. She's got that song. Let me quote you the wisdom of Alanis here. The lyrics go, "I'm drunk, but I'm sober. I'm rich, but I'm poor. I'm sad, but I'm happy." Is she this year's Prozac calendar girl? And I was thinking this was a very special Mother's Day for Mrs. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber's mother. "Sorry, Mom, I can't be with you, since you ratted me out. But enjoy the package I sent you."
As a matter of fact, let's clip on the microphone, and normally, of course, we're transposing the seats, but anyway, our camera crew can adjust. Dan, first of all, how did you get interested in doing stand-up comedy?
Well, I was divorced. I was bitter. I was angry. And my friends said, "You better get on stage and invent that somewhere where we don't have to hear it. We'd really be better off."
Were there any comedians that you followed or idolized while growing up that made an impact in your eventual decision to try stand-up comedy?
Absolutely.
Like whom?
Lenny Bruce, Mel Brooks, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Bob Newhart, Johnny Carson in his own way, Jack Benny, Chaplin, Groucho Marx. I wanted to be Groucho Marx when I grew up.
I say that's an interesting development. Say the secret word, win $50. Something quite common you see every day. You must have watched all the reruns of Groucho's game show, You Bet Your Life.
Oh, sure. In fact, I actually had the privilege of sitting in the audience of the Dick Cavett show watching him being interviewed.
That was in the early 70s. Didn't think you were that old. You must have been about this tight, this tall. Maybe your parents took you. But anyway, though, if any viewers who, after seeing your stand-up routine here, want to see you perform at a comedy club in the Boston area, what are some of the 2 or 3 of your next scheduled appearances?
Well, they can't because I'm in New York. No, I will. Let's see. I'll be appearing Friday, September 27th, at the Knights of Columbus in Roslindale because my career is going so well. There's a benefit for multiple sclerosis that's going on there, and if you want to contact me, I can give you more information about that.
And in fact, your email address is going to be coming on at the end of the segment. It's nice to do work for a nice charitable public service cause. It's always nice to give something back to the community. It's one reason why in my show we sometimes run public service spots like the one for the Red Cross hurricane relief just before you came on.
Sure, and I love to do comedy right after a plug for hurricane relief. There's nothing funnier than death and destruction, really, when you come right down to it. I mean, famine is actually funnier, but, you know, really, a Hurricane Hortense, you can't top that.
Well, at least be glad it didn't blow through here, or else I may have come on in a studio with the roof and half the walls gone. That would have been interesting. But all seriousness, though, how would a stand-up routine you do, for instance, at the function for the Multiple Sclerosis Society or in a comedy club, differ from the routine you did here?
Well, there might be some language you might not hear here. There might be some subjects. I consider myself to be somebody who pushes the edge. I believe that the job of a stand-up comedian is to say the things that we as audience members don't even want to admit that we think. So it's not easy to do that on TV, but it is a lot easier to do that in a club.
As a matter of fact, speaking of which, if I would ever try my luck at a open mic comedy night, there are some jokes that I would not dare mention here because of the fact that they might not be in good taste, but definitely I might in a comedy club situation where nobody is under 18 or even under 21. Unlike, of course, many of the viewers of our program, of course, anyone with a TV set that's got cable television in Norwood, Western, and Dedham can turn us on. And we, of course, are seen in time periods, late afternoon and early evening, where almost anyone is available. So that's why, one reason why our show is the way it is in part the time of day it runs. For instance, if you were on a late night talk show like a David Letterman or Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien,
sure,
you'd obviously be able to use a little more material you couldn't hear, and of course, at the comedy club, a lot more material.
Sure.
Speaking of which...
Joe, are you telling me that this is not Letterman?
He's a little funnier than I am. Besides, are we in a big theater in Broadway in New York? Where's Paul Schaefer? Where's Paul Schaefer? Where's the guy that goes, letter number one? I haven't seen him here.
My agent
either.
told me to do this, and then I'd be right directly on letter.
Well, actually, I think you'll be getting a videotape of your appearance at the show, courtesy of our crew, because you were kind enough to drop off for our crew a blank tape, and you'll probably be able to use it to land some gigs, and hopefully you'll get in some of the major late-night shows. I certainly hope so, because the routine he just did is hilarious. He had the audience, the crew, and yours truly. I'll tell you, I almost literally died laughing. I was all slumped onto the floor laughing hysterically. I had to grab the sides of my seat to stay seated.
Well, I'm sure there are some crew members that were very sad to see that you got back up, but
so they're the ones. Of course, stand-up comedy is what a lot of people in the business who are comedians do, but some use stand-up comedy as a platform to bigger or better things. For instance, a lot of stand-up comedians like David Letterman, Jay Leno, Johnny Carson, Rosie O'Donnell, and some others have gone on to do talk shows. Other stand-up comedians like Jerry Seinfeld, Ellen DeGeneres, Tim Allen, Jeff Foxworthy, etc., have used that to be a springboard to star in a situation comedy show.
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of stand-up comedy now, but have you ever imagined that perhaps maybe someday, gee, I'd like to do a talk show, or gee, I'd like to star in a situation comedy, or would you rather just try and just stick with the stand-up and hope that your stand-up career will eventually make you, shall I speak, very satisfied?
Well, to be quite honest with you, Joe, I was hoping to take over your show. From there.
So that's why I noticed a funny little arsenic capsule in my glass of water I yanked out before I drank it during the last commercial.
From there, I hope that stand-up is a springboard for me to become a rabbi, because that was really my whole aspiration, to just sing in front of a bunch of people. I figure if you get them laughing enough, then you can listen to my voice. Actually, the truth is, I'm one of the few stand-ups that enjoys doing stand-up just for stand-up. I have no aspirations to have a TV show, because if I did, what would you call it? Divorced with Children? The plot would be the same every week, you know. Dan tries to murder his ex-wife, fails, and his children laugh at him.
And meanwhile, Dan runs off in a white Ford Bronco while helicopters televise pictures of the chase to 2 billion viewers in 194 different countries around the world.
Right. I should be so lucky, really.
Actually,
get the kind of coverage that OJ has had. Phew.
Actually, Dan, we have information coming up on the screen. It's an email address. If you want to get in touch with Dan Savage, if you'd like to book him to do stand-up comedy at a party or a function, heck, but the holidays aren't that far away. That may be a good idea. You can email him at DANS at TAC.net, all spelled out as one word as you see there.
Right. I can also be reached by phone. I'm listed in Brookline, Dan Savage. I'm listed.
And
I'm
the phone number is
parties.
it's not listed on the screen up there. Right. So can you give the number if anyone wants to contact you by the phone?
Sure. It's 617-731-4310 and
731-4310. So now you have no excuse if you need a stand-up comic to perform at a holiday season party or function. Hire Dan. You'll be happy you did. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I should ask before I let you go, was this your first television appearance?
Actually, I have appeared, no, I've been on America's Most Wanted twice before.
So you're the phantom comic that eludes capture.
That's right. If you've seen the guy with the red nose that robs the grocery stores, you know, and tells those terrible jokes, and then gets caught because he keeps telling the jokes and telling the jokes, that's me. That's me.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have one of the best a cappella singing groups in probably the whole country. 5 O'Clock Shadow. I heard them perform for our crew when we did the sound check. You're going to enjoy it. Stay tuned.